What's happening, guys? My name is Words, and today I am going to show you a sorcerer build that will take you from level 1 to the end game. Understand that for the sorcerer there's a lot of build varieties, and it all depends on your playstyle and what you like to do. So first of all, let me show you the skill tree. I am not going to spend a lot of time in the skill tree because I am going to leave a written document, a written list of all the skills and all the points where you put all the points. That way you can follow through while you are leveling up all the way to when you get to the end game. So first of all, we're gonna take our Lash, very popular, and then this is where I put all the points, and then make sure you put 1 point in fireball, but just follow the list. But you don't have to do it right away, but because this is going to be our enchantment, this is going to be important. And then when you get to the core skills, what you're going to do, you're going to take chain lightning. This is by far one of the better damage dealers for the sorcerer, so make sure you put some points in there. And then I'm just going to show you where we have points and what we max out, but just follow the list that I'm going to give you and you will be fine. And teleport is very important, don't forget to do that. And then follow the list again, and then just see where I put points in there, what's important: ice armor, frost nova. And then for the conjuration skill, you may not to worry about that, but if you decide that you want to do something about this, you can just go ahead and do so. But we're gonna get some points here, and we're gonna max protection. And then when we go down there to the mastery skill, then you're gonna make sure that you put some points in the icy veil. You don't have to put 2, but I have 2 on there. You can just put 1. And then important, you're gonna have to take those points and put them somewhere here. And but you don't have to. There are many options of things that you can do, but just make sure you just do what you like as well. And then when we come to the ultimate, our ultimate is gonna be one of the best ultimate for the sorcerer, in my opinion, and as the opinions of a lot of other people. So the unstable currents, just make sure you max that if you can, and this is gonna pay dividends for you. And then when it comes to those right here, make sure you put some points in there. And but don't worry too much about those. Like I said, I got the list. You can follow this very easily, so that's why I'm going to do this very quick. And then for our final, for the passives, you're gonna pick this one. But if you decide you want to change your play style, you want to try something different, there's a lot of options, but this one is by far the best for the build that we are using. All right, now let's go about the gear, and I'm going to show you what's important as far as the aspect that you can look for. Now, talking about important aspect, just you're gonna put them wherever is possible, because you're gonna find legendaries. So if you find them and they have the aspects that you want, then just make sure you use them. So for this one, this is one of the most important aspect in the game for any class. It says right here, damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier absorbing up to 1539. Now your numbers is gonna be different, but this is the best one that I found at the end of my level 50, but yours is going to be different. But it's important to have this in your build because this is going to save you a lot. So let me show you where you can get this. So if we go into the map and then just look at for Kjorvishad, and then just go down here and you'll see the Lost Archive. This is where you are going to find these aspects if you can't find it into a legendary. So just make sure you get this. Now if you want to know where to find the aspects, all you gotta do is just go to collection and go to the codex, and then it's got all the aspects that you can have. But those are gonna be the lowest numbers of aspects that you're gonna have because they are in the codex, but you can find them on legendary where they're gonna have better numbers. So if we go to the defensive, and you can see the aspect of the protector, like I showed you, you find this in the Lost Archives dungeon. So this is where you're gonna find it. This is one of the most important ones. And as far as offensive aspects, this is the one that is very useful while you're leveling. You can see the basic skill gain you 15% attack speed. Attack speed is gonna be very important because it's gonna allow you to do more damage as fast as possible. So if you can get this, you can find this in the Buried Halls dungeon in Dry Steps. So for the Buried Halls dungeons, so if you go to Dry Steps area, so early on you can just unlock this if you just don't have the horse, but you're going to have to walk, but you can go and do that if you want to, but you don't really have to. So this is where you find this, as you can see right here in this little area right here. This is where you find this on the map, and you can just go and do that dungeon and you'll get that aspects that we talked about. Now, another aspect that you can be on the lookout for, that you can just go and get as soon as you can, is this one right here. Prodigy's aspect. Using your cooldown restores 50% of your mana. That said, in your gear, this is where you're going to try to find the best that you have and then just use them. So like for instance, I already showed you the barrier one, but for the other ones, it's whatever you can find. Then if you can't find them, then you'll be fine. I believe I spent a lot of time without using a lot of them, then I was fine without them. But once I find them, I use them. So just be on the lookout for what is best for you or what is good for you, and then just use them. So whatever you can, just use them. Like for instance, this one on a weapon, you deal 28% more damage to immobilize, stun, or frozen enemies. So if we go to the codex again, in the offensive one, you can see the aspect of control, you deal 25%. Now, like I said, the numbers are going to be different. This is going to be the lowest number that you have when you use the codex, but you can imprint those on your gear to actually get this. And you can see where you find this in Sunken Library in Kedges. So do not worry about looking for those on the map. I am going to show you the interactive map for Diablo 4. You can use that. All you got to do is just type the name, and then it'll show you on the map where it is, and you can just go look for it. So I'm going to also leave a link in the description. That way you can use that to your advantage if you so choose. So I'm not going to go back to the codex again, but I'm going to show you in my gears all the stuff that I have. This one right here on my focus, you can see that I have this, but you don't need this. If you don't have it, you'll find, but if you find it, just make sure you use it. And here also, you don't need this, but if you have it, use it, so it's okay. And then for this one right here, that's the one that I show you with the barrier and you deal damage. Again, the numbers are going to be different when you find them, so it is what it is. And then for the amulet, now as you can see right here, this is, in my opinion, one of the best aspects in the game. The reason being is because any class can use this, and then when you have this on, it's kind of like a free out of jail card that you have, because once you start taking damage at a certain amount, then you have that big bubble that's going to protect you. And then you have 7.5 seconds. And now it all depends, your numbers might be different, but for me, 7.5 seconds, that's a lot of time. And while you're inside that big bubble, you are not going to take any damage whatsoever. And you can be in there and then spam your arc lash like crazy, as long as you have enough mana to actually do it, and you will be fine. Get this if you can find it. Just make sure you imprint this on your build, on your armor, wherever you can find it. Now you see, this is my lowest piece of gear. I cannot take this off because I like this aspect, and then it's been with me forever, and I never found another piece of equipment that has this. So since it's imprinted on there, I keep it in there. But it's fine, even though the item power is 450, and as you can see, all my other one are in the 500, and you know, there's higher, but this one I keep on there. So it is on the amulet, because you're probably never going to change the amulet, so I put my most important, or the one that I like the most, on the amulet, and then I just never have to worry about it. But if you have this, make sure you use this. This is very good. Now, we talk a lot about imprinting stuff on your gear, so just in case you are someone that is new to the game and you don't know how this works, just go on the map and look for the occultist. And the occultist is the person that you're going to use wherever you see it on the map to actually just extract aspect that you like, and then just put them on other equipment that you want. So if we go and talk to this guy right here, as you can see, he's got imprint, and you also have extract. So if you have an aspect that you like, you can extract it, and then you can just put an aspect on there. So the way you do this, you just go to the item, just pick up an item that you want to add something to, like, you know, something that doesn't have an aspect on it, then you want to put in. So normally that's the one that you use to do that. Like for instance, this one doesn't have an aspect. If I want, I can use this, and I'm going to find an aspect in the codex. I can do this either from the codex, or I can also do this from the inventory. So in your inventory, all the aspects that you extract are going to be in your inventory. So all you got to do is just tab over to the right, and then you can see them right here. Then you can add them to your equipment. So that's the two ways that you can do that. So that's the reason why I say once you find the codex, and you can just go and put them on your gear. Now it's gonna cost you some materials. Just make sure you make a habit of salvaging your gear that you don't want. That way you can have the materials and resources that you need to actually imprint some good aspect on your gear. So it's going to cost you some gold and then some materials, and then just go do what you got to do and you should be fine. Now any footage that you see is me unlocking the capstone dungeon so I can get to level 3. That's the reason why I say you can take this build all the way to the end game and then just do what you gotta do. So I'm gonna demonstrate the build, how you can make it work, and then show you how the bubble that I was talking about works, and you can see for yourself what I was talking about. So I'm in here, there's a lot of enemies here. Sometimes there's a big boss here, like he's already here. So I just make sure that, you know, I got my barrier active. As you can see, this big bubble, once you start taking damage, then you inside that bubble, then nothing can actually kill you. Just remember you have 7.5 seconds just to get out of there, and then just continue to use your barrier whatever you can. And then this is like a tier 3 boss, and then it's got a lot of damage. It's got a lot of it. One hit it can kill you, but you know, you always have this barrier available, and then you can just do what you got to do. This is where you can find a good staff if you want to use a staff instead of a wand. So this staff right here, as you can see, this is a very good one that you can use. And then if you don't want to use those wands, now that I show you how the bubble works for this build and for this character, then let me show you the weapons that you can use. Now ideally for the sorcerer, you want to use a wand and then a focus. So those gives you like cooldown, because although you can't get as much damage as you would have for a staff, like for instance this staff right here where I show you I was fighting that boss, you can find that staff over there. And then if it drops as a rare, you can just put an imprint on it to actually do more damage. That's what I put on there. But once you unlock nightmare level and beyond, then you can start having sacred weapon or sacred armor, sacred gears. Everything will change to sacred, and then the numbers are a lot higher, they're a lot different. But before that, all you gotta do, just use that build, and then you'll be able to unlock everything that you need, and you will be good to go. Anyway guys, I think that's all we have. I try to keep it as short as possible. Just make sure you follow the list. I'm going to leave a list in the description, and I'm going to give you a screenshot, and you can use that to actually level up and then get to level 3 and beyond, and you will be fine. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.